Goldfinger was the first blockbuster James Bond film, and the first one in the series to win an Academy Award, in 1965 for Best Sound Effects Editing. It was directed by Guy Hamilton, who would later go on to direct Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and The Man with the Golden Gun. Of all the James Bond films, this is probably one of the more recognizable entries, and definitely helped in raising the character to iconic status. This one has all the staples of a James Bond film you could ask for. The provocative opening titles, sung to a title song performed by Shirley Bassey.
Goldfinger, he's the man with the Midas touch.
The Aston Martin DB5, which is arguably Bond's most famous vehicle. A slew of spy gadgetry, once again offered by Desmond Llewellyn, the head of Q Branch.
Revolving number plates, naturally. Here's a nice little transmitting device called a Homer. Audio-visual, range 150 miles.
You're joking.
I never joke about my work, 007.
A recognizable main villain, Auric Goldfinger, a couple of very exotic Bond girls, and it also offers one of Bond's most recognizable lines of dialogue.
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Not to mention, out of all the Bond movies, this one's probably been parodied the most. Going back to Austin Powers, there's a character in the first film named Random Task, who attacks people by throwing a shoe.
Oh! That really hurt! Who throws a shoe? Honestly.
This character was directly inspired by Oddjob, played by Japanese weightlifter Harold Sakata, who attacks by throwing his bowler hat. In the second movie, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Austin sees one of his enemies approaching by staring into the eyes of a love interest, the same thing that happens to Bond at the beginning of the film. The third Austin Powers film was called Goldmember, in which the central villain turned his member to gold during an unfortunate smelting accident.
Hey everybody, I'm from Holland. Isn't that weird? Yes.
It's also the one Bond film people watch in movies, if they're watching a Bond film. It's no secret that Steven Spielberg was a huge Bond fan. Look at his movie, Catch Me If You Can. The main character, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, goes to the movies to see Goldfinger, which directly inspires him to lead a life of luxury. The film opens and Bond, played for the third consecutive time by Sean Connery, uses plastic explosives to blow up a drug laboratory in Latin America. He kills a man in his bathtub by tossing in an electric appliance, delivering another memorable one-liner.
Positively shocking.
After the opening titles, we find Bond in Miami Beach, where he keeps tabs on the film's title character, a bullion dealer named Auric Goldfinger, played by German actor Gert Frobe. We're introduced to the character of Felix Leiter, who we first met in Dr. No.
Hello.
This time he's played by Cess Linder, a Canadian film and television actor who is known for his work in such TV shows as Alfred Hitchcock Presents and the Perry Mason TV movies. Apparently, the original actor, Jack Lord, wanted too much money to reprise the role. That's understandable given how insignificant the character is, but in Goldfinger he's portrayed as a much older man, which detracts from the continuity. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be quite a challenge to keep it consistent over the course of 22 films. But this was only the third one, so they never explain the sudden age difference. Rumor has it that Linder wanted the character to be older, but that suggests that he didn't see or didn't have enough respect for the films that came earlier. Bond realizes that Goldfinger is cheating at gin rummy, and in retaliation finds his hotel room. There he finds that the beautiful Jill Masterson is spying on Goldfinger's opponent and is telling Auric all of the right moves using a microphone. Bond hilariously interferes, causing Goldfinger to lose the match. For revenge, Goldfinger paints Jill's body in gold, smothering her skin and causing her to suffocate. That image of actress Shirley Eaton encased in gold was one of the most sensual images of the time, and to this day is one of the most memorable images in cinema. Then there's this scene where Bond plays Goldfinger in a round of golf. Like at the hotel, Bond beats Auric at his own game. The prize, a gold bar, which solidifies Goldfinger's obsession with gold. Later on, Bond runs into Tilly Masterson, played by Tanya Mallet, who tries to assassinate Goldfinger for the murder of her sister. After Oddjob kills her, James is captured and strapped to a table, and yet another memorable scene.
Do you expect me to talk?
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Here, Goldfinger attempts to slice Bond right down the middle using a high-powered laser.
Laser.
Bond postpones his fate by revealing that he has information about Operation Grand Slam, which is Goldfinger's master plan to hijack the United States Depository in Fort Knox. Oh, so we're not good enough to direct Bond movies, but we're good enough to be robbed blind by a German mastermind? That's real generous of you, United Artists. Bond gets transported to a farm where we're introduced to Goldfinger's pilot, an astute woman named And I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
My name is Pussy Galore.
Again, going back to Austin Powers, listen to some of the women's names.
A lot of vagina.
Felicity Shagwell.
Ivana Humpalot.
My name is Robin Swallows. Maiden name Spitz.
Well, which is it, baby? Spitz or Swallows?
The list could seriously go on forever, but I'm pretty sure this is where the trend started. And in a weird kind of way, it's actually the most perverse usage. So after sleeping with Miss Galore, Bond convinces her to, instead of spraying poisonous gas over Fort Knox, to simply have all the guards play dead, fooling the enemy into thinking they've won. There's another all-out war, and in the midst of it all, Bond and Oddjob have a fight within the vault. Goldfinger confronts James in a plane, where James uses his gun to break open the windows, causing the plane to lose air pressure and leading Goldfinger to be hilariously sucked out the window. Come on, I don't have to take this seriously. It's too funny. Bond and Pussy parachute to safety, and the film closes on a high note. I didn't want to spoil the entire movie, but rather highlight some of the key moments. Again, most people don't go to a Bond film expecting a tight plot. They go for the staples of the franchise. The action, the women, and in this case the villains, which were definitely a step above what we've seen in the last two films. It upped the ante in every department, keeping the complexity contained and focusing more on the action-adventure aspects. For that reason, Goldfinger is considered the pinnacle film of the franchise. If you're looking for a good Bond film, there's rarely a better place to start.